So little bit about myself. I am a technical lead at Epic Ground. These are my social media URL. So you can connect me on the social media if you will have any query related to your career path, or if you need anything from in the Salesforce. I have a very deep expertise in the Salesforce developments, from the development to making the things live on the app exchange. So I am working very closely to the all applications. So from the development to the live, whenever we have a lots of stage to live some app on the app exchange, so we need to pass some security review. I have also deep expertise in that. So my expertise in the lightning web components, apex, visual post page, aura, and also I have a deep expertise in the omni studio flow, and these are the tools, low code and the no code solutions. I have also a very good expertise on that. So you can connect me on the social media URLs. These are my social media platforms. Okay, so let me move on the next slide.
Shubham bro,
Okay,
sorry for interrupting.
yeah.
There is a little bit echo noise in chat also. Many of them are messaging. The sound is not clear. Can you please check?
Okay, let me check. Okay, is it clear to you now?
Yes, yes, it is good now. Thank you.
Okay, okay, sure. Thank you. Okay, okay. So the today's agenda is the Lightning Web component introduction. So we will look on the what is Lightning Web components. Then we have what are the advantage and disadvantage of using Lightning Web components. So we have some equities for the Lightning Web components. First we need to know about what are the things we know before moving into the Lightning Web components. Also, we have a components library that is called the Lightning Design System. So we have a components library inside the Salesforce. So we can look on that. Then we will look on the how we can create and use the Lightning Web components. Let's suppose we need to create some applications over the Salesforce platform. So how we can do that? We can create some lightning web components. We can create one application inside the Salesforce. We can put our lightning web component inside that app, or let's suppose we need to create some portal for the customers. So we can also put our lightning web components on the experience cloud side, and many more things. We have the lightning web components that we can use it. Okay, then we have a hands-on some sessions. So I have created some demo for you, and after the PPT, all the things, we will move on the hands-on ones, and we have some learning resource that I will share with you all. Okay, so what is Lightning Web component? So if I will talk about the developments, previously they were using the visual course pages. With the help of visual course pages, they were creating applications over the Salesforce platform. Then in approximately 2014, Aura came into the pictures. Then Salesforce org is totally getting changed from classics to the Lightnings. And then approximately 2018, at the end of 2018, Lightning Web Components came into the pictures. So Lightning Web Components based on the 2019 Web Stacks model, and it is a new programming model built on the web standards. So it follow all the web standards. Also, whatever the components that build using the web component standards, so now referred as the Lightning Web Components. Aura is also a Lightning components. This is not Lightning Web Components, but the Lightning Web Components is referred whenever we will create some components using the web component standard. So that is referred as the Lightning Web Components. Lightning Web Component designed to work with the Lightning platform, which is cloud-based enterprise platforms, offer range tools and services for building business applications. So Lightning Web Components offer lots of functionality. We can create a modular codings. We can create some small piece of codes. Let's suppose we need to create a big programs. Let's suppose we have to create a calculator. So what we can do, we can divide that calculator into a smaller piece of codes. Let's suppose one developer will work on the additions, one developer will work on the subtractions, one developer will work on the multiplications, and many more modules we can divide, and we can assign to the multiple developer. Okay, and we can assign it to the multiple developer, and what they will do, they will create multiple lightning web components, and later what will happen, one developer will integrate all the components inside inside a parent components, and then they can use it. Now we can think, okay, so lightning web components offer a modular approach, so we can divide larger program into a smaller piece of codes, and we can divide it into modules. Okay. Also, Lightning Web Components over a traditional web development. So, traditional web developments, when I am talking about the traditional web developments, so it is referred to the ECMAScript. So, whenever we are getting something changed into the JavaScripts, so we can also apply into the Lightning Web Components. Okay, it includes the better performance. Okay, so Lightning Web Components, why Lightning Web Components came into the pictures? If we were using the Light or the Visual Force, so it is a better performance and the easier debugging testing, and it improves the security as well. So what is happening here, so whenever you will create the Lightning Web Components, most of the features will execute on the browser, so it will not any dependency from the third party APIs or any other things. So it is better performance, and nowadays everyone wants that a bit faster response. Okay, so no one, let's suppose we will create applications that will load after 10 minutes. Then no one is going to use that. So Lightning Web Components came into the picture. It has a faster response to the users. So whenever we perform any operations on the browsers, it will give us a faster response. Okay. So this was the totally introductions about the Lightning Web Components. Even if you will go on any websites, you will get lots of introductions about the Lightning Web Components. But this was the high level overview of the Lightning Web Components. Okay, let me move on then. Okay, why Lightning Web Components? So Lightning Web Components, as I have already mentioned, it follows the web standards that exist in the browsers. This means there is no Aura frameworks. So Aura was what was happening. So there was Aura was a frameworks that was previously we were using before the or Lightning Web Components came into the picture. So Salesforce developer we are using the Aura components to create some applications over the Salesforce platform. But when Lightning Web Components came into the pictures, because it rendered faster than the Aura components, so most of the peoples are moving towards the Lightning Web Components because we all like to faster response. Okay, so Lightning Web Components also built on the web standard. Almost all codes involve a minimal amounts of custom codes. So here, all we can make the lots of things dynamically, and we can follow all the, like. Let's suppose we have a JavaScripts. We have also functions, but we have also arrow methods, fetch arrow methods that we can use, and we can speed up the codes optimizations. We can optimize our codes. We can write in the efficient way. We can create applications which will have a better performance, which will have a web standards JavaScripts. Okay, so Lightning Web Component itself a richer API based on the UI API. So Lightning Web Components have also lots of things, like Lightning Web Components have the record form, Lightning Web Components have record edit form, record view forms, and many more things we have inside the Lightning Web Components. So we can use it inside the Lightning whenever we will create any applications on the Salesforce platform. We will use that, and we can optimize our performance. We can create a more robust applications on the Salesforce platform. And if that, as I have already mentioned in the points, Lightning Web Component itself has a richer API based on the UI API for better performance and less apex to write a calling. Let's suppose we need to create some records, so we have a records form. Without writing a single line of Apex code, we can create records inside the Salesforce. Let's suppose we need to insert the lead record in the Salesforce, and we don't want to write the Apex code. We have a record forms that we can use it, and we can insert the record inside the Salesforce. Okay, so these are the things we have available in the Lightning Web Components, which is making our Lightning Web Components more robust. Okay, so now moving on the benefits of the Lightning Web Components. So as we have already mentioned, it uses modern JavaScripts. Modern JavaScripts means it follow all the ECMAScript 6 plus whatever the things we have in the ECMAScript. ECMAScript is something that JavaScript's updated version. So every year, so JavaScripts is making some more ECMAScripts. So currently we have more than 13s or 14s. I am not pretty much sure. I have to look on that. So we have every ECMAScripts that we can follow inside the Lightning Web Components, and we can make it more robust. Also, it follow the web standard, so we can create some more. Let's suppose we need to integrate some third-party API that we can also integrate into our Lightning Web Components. Let's suppose we need to call some other API from the Lightning Web Components, so we can also do that. And Lightning Web Components developments is easier for the developers because it follow only HTML, CSS, JavaScripts, and we have one more files that is metadata XML files. okay, where we need to configure it, and we whatever the configurations you will do, based upon that you can use it. So whenever you will create the Lightning Web components, you will get the HTML, JavaScript, metadata files, and also we are getting one JS files. So in JS files, what is happening? So whatever the things we will write it inside the JavaScripts, inside the JS test, we can write the test for that Lightning Web components, and we can test it. Okay, so that is very similar to the Apex testing. So whatever the let's suppose we are writing some Apex class, so we are writing the test class for the Apex. So we are making our code more robust. So we are checking our positive and negative scenarios, and we are checking that so it is working fine our class or not. So same things we can also do in to the Lightning Web component. So for this we have a JS test files. So we can write the test methods for the Lightning Web components, and we can use it. Okay, now coming on the code performance, because more features are executed natively on the browser instead by the JS framework. So as we whatever the things we will build in the Lightning Web components, most of the features will execute on the browser. So it is faster. As I am talking more much times faster and faster. So as we all know, that's how it is important for the application. So faster response. So Lightning Web components follow that same. Okay. Now coming on the best practices of the Lightning Web components. So whenever we are creating any things inside the Salesforce, we always need to take care of the best practices, because as we all know that we need to pass the security review. So whenever any application is getting live on the app exchange, before that we need to pass some security review from the Salesforce. So they are following, they are checking lots of things inside your components, inside your Apex class. Like if I will talk about the Apex class, we should append the check marks and many more things we have that we need to append it here. So the same things is followed with the Lightning Web components as well. So we need to always follow the best practices, and this is the way we can create the more robust applications over the Salesforce platform. As we all know that Salesforce maintain our security and review processes. So we need to follow the best practices. The first one is the modular code organizations. Okay, so modular code organization is something. So whenever we need to create some programs, whenever we need to create some Lightning Web components, we always need to think about the modularizations. So we need to think about the reusability, modularizations. These are all the things is very important for any applications. Either you are developing in the Lightning Web components, or either you are developing anything on the React or any other things, whatever the applications you are creating. These things you should have to take care. So you always have to take care of the modularization. So you need to let's suppose you need to create some applications. So you don't need to write all the piece of codes in a single components. You need to create some small piece of components, and then you have to append it inside application, and you have to use that. So what is the benefits of the modular code organizations? So whenever you will modularize your codes, so multiple developer can work simultaneously on the same times. So what will happen? So let's suppose you are creating any applications, big applications, that will take let's suppose if one developer will work on that, it will take 1 to 2 years. Then no clients is waiting for 1 to 2 years to use that applications. As we all know, this currently agile is very demanding nowadays. So every time we need to do some faster developments. So we need to modularize our codes. We have to divide it into modules. We have to divide it into multiple tasks. We have to assign to the multiple developers, and multiple developers will work on the same projects. And later, they all will integrate all the things into the applications, and then they will use it. Okay. Now coming on the next topics, use @API and track decorator wisely. So before this version, so Salesforce got introduced. So currently our all the variable is already reactive. So we don't need to use the tracks all the times. Previously, if you will look on any applications that was developed 2 years or 3 years back, so what you will get lots of variables behind the variables, developers use the at the rate tags to make our variables reactive. But Salesforce now what they have developed, so our all the variables is already reactive, so we don't need to use at the rate tags all the times. But sometimes wherever we need to perform complex operations over the array of let's suppose we are having structures, JSON structures, we inside that we have a complex nodes, so we at that times we can create at the rates with the variables, so make our variables reactives. And at the rate API is something, so whenever we need to make our variables public, then only we need to use at the rate API. So whenever we need to use this variable inside any other components, then only we need to go with the at the rate API. So we have a decorators at the rate API, at the rate tracks, and at the rate wires as well. So at the rate wire is whenever we need to call some things imperatively. So what we need to do, so let's suppose we have some applications where what we need, let's suppose we have a data tables and we have to show some data to the users without performing any operations. Okay, so whenever the page will get loads, we need to show the data of the users. At that times, we need to use at the rate wires. It will call imperatively and it will show the data on to the screens. Okay, and API already mentions whenever we need to use the make to the variables publics, then only we need to go with the API. Okay. Now coming on the third points, conditional rendering versus conditional logic. Okay, so conditional rendering is something we have a template if true, if false, we have inside the Lightning Web components. Now Salesforce we have a Lightning LWC if else. So we can create multiple if else statements inside the Lightning HTML files, and we can render the elements based upon our requirements. So always we need to think it carefully. Either we need to use the renderings or we need to use the conditional logics. Let's suppose we need to play with only one components. Okay, so we have to hide this or either we have to show this. Then at the tabs you can go with the conditional renderings. You can make the variables true and false, and based upon your true false, the elements will be rendered on the components or it will be hide on from the DOM. Okay. And let's suppose we will have multiple components. Let's suppose we have 5 components and we need to show it. Let's suppose first times we need to show first, then we need to second show third, then we need to show the fourth, and let's suppose we need to conditionally show. Let's suppose first times we will show third, 3 components on the screen. Sometimes we will show 2 components based upon client's requirements. These all the things will happen. Okay, so at that times we need to go with the conditional logic, so we can write the multiple if else there and we can use it. It will optimize our codes and it will make our performance better. Okay, now coming on the Lightning data services. So Lightning data services some things. So whenever we need to perform some operations on the database, let's suppose whenever we need to enter some data into the database, what we can do, we can use the Lightning data service. Lightning data service is the Lightning record form, Lightning edit form, Lightning view form. These are the forms we have into the Lightning web components that we can use it whenever we need to enter some data into the database. But let's suppose we need to perform some more complex operations. Let's suppose we are taking the data from the users and we are performing some operations on it. Then after we are going to insert the data into the database. At that time we can't use the Lightning data service. I will show some examples while doing the demo. So how we can use that Lightning data service, how we cannot. Also, so this is the best practice. So whenever let's suppose you don't need to perform any other operations, you just need to enter the data into the database. At that times what you can do, you can use the Lightning data service. This is a very simple syntax. You will get some lots of sample code on the internet. You just copy and paste it. You just need to understand what is happening there. So most of the times what will happen, you just need to pass the columns and data and what let's suppose you need to show some data on the UI, so you just need to pass the record ID, and let's suppose you need to create some. So these are the things we have: Lightning edit form, Lightning view form, Lightning record edit form. These are the things we have available in the Lightning web components. Okay. Now be careful when naming conventions. So it is follow all the place. So either you are creating applications over the Lightning web components or the Apex or any other programming language. Either you are writing code in the Java or any programming languages you are writing. you need to be careful while naming conventions, because this play a very important role in your development career. Let's suppose whatever the applications we are creating after a 6 month back, after 6 months we need to insert some more functionality in the same applications. At that time that code will be more difficult to read if you will not follow the good naming conventions. But let's suppose if you are following the very good naming conventions, anyone can read your code. So with the help of naming conventions, our code will be more robust and more readable. Okay, so this is the best practice. Either you are writing programming any programming language, you need to follow the good naming conventions. Now include error handling in the code logic. So this is also for all the programming languages. Either you are writing piece code of lightning web components or the apex, you need to always follow the error handling. So when let's suppose you are writing a piece of code that will work fine in your systems, but it might happen some other systems, it will cause some error, and if you will not handle that errors, it will crash your applications. So we always need to take care of the error handling. So this is the best practice. So let's suppose you are performing any operations in the database. So we have try catch. Inside we have also Lightning Web Components, we have also try-catch blocks, so that we can use it and we can optimize our codes and we can handle the error. So whenever you will, let's suppose you will get some error from your database. So if you will not handle on the Lightning Web Components, what will happen? The page will crash. But let's suppose if you will handle that applications and you will show the exceptions to the users. So what will happen? The user will get, let's suppose we are creating input login page, okay, and we have simple two input fields there, username and password. Think about the scenario where a developer will not follow the error handling. What will happen if you will enter any username, any passwords? It will what will happen? The page will crash. But what in real terms, what we are getting? We are getting the correct errors. Please enter the correct username. Please enter the correct passwords. We are getting. So this is the parts of the error handlings. We always need to take care of this. Okay, now coming on the avoid hard coding IDs or hard coding things on the Lightning Web Components. So always we need to think about the more robust applications. So let's suppose today you have created applications whose name is the Lightning Web Components, but after some times it might be happen that someone wants to change that application name. So let's suppose if you will not make it the dynamic, so it will be too difficult to, everyone is not able to write piece of code. Okay, so let's suppose that is an admin person, he don't have any idea about the Lightning Web Components. But if you will use the custom label, he will be able to use the custom label. He will be able to change the custom label value, and whatever the value will be changed, that will be reflected on the Lightning Web Component. So we always need to use the custom labels, or we need to always think about the dynamic things. So we always have to take the data from the database and we have to show it in the Lightning Web Components. We have to avoid hard codings. Okay, these were the best practices of the Lightning Web Components. Okay, now coming on the next topic. Okay, so packages of the Lightning Web Components. So these are some tools, and we have some plugins as well. So that we need to install before writing LWC codes. So this is a Salesforce CLI. So we need to install the first. We need to install Salesforce CLI. Whenever you will go on the browsers and you will enter Salesforce CLI, you will get the official sites of the Salesforce. You just need to open that, and whenever you will open, you just need to configure it based upon your operating systems. If you are using the Mac, Windows, Linux, whatever the operating system you are using, and you need to download it based upon your system architecture. Okay, then once you will install it, you just need to set up the path and all. So once you will, while doing the installations, it will ask you for all the things. You just need to install it. Okay, then we have the Visual Studio codes. You just need to be, then after, once you will install the Salesforce CLI, then you have to move on the Visual Studio Code. So once you will type Visual Studio Code in the browsers, so you will be launched on these websites, and you just need to download it. Same things you need to follow here as well. So I am using the Windows, so I can download it for the Windows. If any one of you are using Mac or Linux, so you can download it as per your needs. And once you will install these all things, then we have some extensions pack as well. So whenever you will install this Visual Studio Code, so on the left hand side here, this icon you can see. Whenever you will click on this icon, so you will get lots of extensions here. You can search some extensions here and you can install it. Let's suppose you are writing code on the Python, if you are writing code on the Java, if you are writing code on the Apex, if you are writing code on the Salesforce. So we have lots of extensions available in the Visual Studio Codes. Okay, this is the independent ID. So we have a Salesforce CLI extensions. We have Salesforce extensions packs as well. So these are the two important, as I have feel. So these are two important Salesforce CLI extensions packs. Once you will, this is the one, the Salesforce extension pack. Once you will install, you will get all the extensions inside it. You just need to install it, and later then you can use it. So you will be able to run the commands in the VS codes. You will be able to create the projects from the VS code. You will be able to create the Lightning Web components from the VS code. And if you will be able to use the deploy, if you want to authorize your code from VS code, you will need to authorize, and then only you will be able to. So you need to set up these all the things. First you need to create projects, then you need to create the Lightning Web components, then you need to authorize your Salesforce or from the VS code, then you have to deploy, and also you can retrieve the codes from the Salesforce or to the VS code. That is also doable from the VS code. Okay, these were the introductions about these tools. So these are the two tools that is very important for the Salesforce developments. Okay, now coming on the next slide, technology used. Okay, so these are the three technologies that we need to know before writing the LWC codes. Okay, so we should have the HTML idea. So what are the things we need to know inside the HTML? We need to know about the tags. So we have a deep tags, we have the head HTML. Inside HTML, we have lots of tags, paragraph tags, head tags, lots of tags. But here we don't need to use the HTML tags. We don't need to use head tags, title tags. We have to just write whatever the things we were writing inside the body tags. Only that tags we are going to use inside the HTML LWC. Okay. So we should have idea about the inputs elements. We should have idea about the forms and all. Then we have idea about the CSS. Here inside the Lightning Web components, you just need to create a CSS file inside the Lightning components folder, and you will be able to use that. So but you have to take care of one thing. Whenever you will create any
Hi,
components,
Shubham, bro.
you have to hey, hello.
Sorry for the interrupt. There is
Yeah,
little bit echo voice. Can you please check that in the chat?
yeah, yes, sure. Give me a moment. Is it clear now?
Yes, it is good now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so these are the three things that we need to know. So the CSS is the cascading style shape, and the HTML is the hypertext markup language. So whatever the element, whatever the contents, whatever the skeletons we are going to create on the Lightning Web components, that we will create it with the help of HTML. Same things with the CSS. Whatever the designings we need to apply on the skeleton of the our page, so that we will do it with the help of cascading style sheet. Okay, and the JavaScript, as we all know, that is a versatile scripting language used to create dynamics and interactive elements. So let's suppose anyone is entering some data on the HTML. Let's suppose input tags. We have our input tags. We are entering some data on the inputs. So we need to take it on the JavaScript. So how we can do that? So with the help of JavaScript file, we can create method inside that. So we can get the HTML data into the JavaScript, and later we can send that JavaScript data into the Apex. Okay, so that we can follow it also. Okay, so these are the three things, at least inside the JavaScript. What are the things we need to know? So you have to be very familiar with the syntax or basic syntax of the JavaScript. Like you need to know about the variables, what are the keywords we have arrow methods, we have array, we have a strings, we have a strings method. So these are the simple things you need to know before starting the Lightning Web components. Whenever you will start writing the code on the Lightning Web components, definitely there will be lots of complex things. So you need to explore it while writing the codes. That is doable. Okay. So, but at least we should have the basics idea of the HTML, basic idea of the CSS, and basic idea of the JavaScript. We should have. Then only we will be able to start the Lightning Web Components. Okay. Now coming on the CSS. So here we are using only external CSS. Yes, internal inline CSS we can also apply. Like we have written the div text, we can write the style text, and we can write the CSS inside it. But as a best practice, we don't have to use the internal CSS in the Lightning Web Components, because what I felt, so in some of the applications we got some error just because of the internal CSS. So we don't need to use the internal CSS. We always have to move for the external CSS. So whenever we will create the CSS file, we have to write all the CSS code inside that external CSS file, and we have to use it inside the HTML. Okay, so how we can do that? So we can create the class, and we can create some identifiers inside the HTMLs, and we can refer to the CSS files. As we are following the same as in either you are doing the web developments, either you are doing writing piece of code in the React or anything, we need to follow the same here. Okay, now coming on the next slide. Okay, so lightning design system. This is a very important thing for the developer. Let's suppose you are going to start writing some code on the lightning web components. Currently, you don't have any idea about the components. So, what are the benefits of the lightning design systems? This is a complete websites where you will get lots of things. Here, if you will look on the left hand side, what's news, what's getting started, platform, design guidelines, kinetics, accessibility, components, blueprints, lots of things is available on this sites. You just need to enter lightning design system on the browsers, and you have to open that. I will show you while doing the demo. So what you will get it here, you will get lots of pre-built things here. Let's suppose we need to create this on the lightning web components. Then what, think about it, we need to write the HTML code, we need to write the CSS code, all the things we need to write it from the scratch. But the good thing is about these sites, we are getting these ready-made things here. So whenever you will go on the components blueprints, you will get lots of components inside it. You just need to copy and paste it onto the lightning web components codes, and you have to just customize it according to your need. Let's suppose you have to just customize its color. Let's suppose you need this color in the red. So what you have to do, you have to just change this color from blue to red. Okay, so this was just example. I'm not repeating the same things. So we just need to customize the code according to our needs, and later we can use it. So this is making our task easier. This is making our task too easier. So we don't need to write everything from scratch. We just need to copy it from here. Let's suppose we need to create an input tags on the HTML. We don't need to write everything from scratch. You just need to go in the search box. You just need to type for the input. You will get the input code there. Okay, input with the help of some image is offered. So you will get some image, and then later you will get some codes. You just need to copy it. You have to customize it according to your needs, and later you can use it. Okay, so this was the advantage of the lightning design systems. Here you will get lots of built-in things. Here you will get to know about the SLDS design systems. We have lots of SLDS is something. So it is a good thing is that it is developed and maintained by the Salesforce. So we are getting lots of updated things here as well. Okay, and also you will get some SLDS class here. Let's suppose you need to apply some padding, you need to apply some margin. So we have SLDS class. You just need to copy that class. You just need to append it inside your components. You will get it there. And good thing is that you don't need to import it. You don't need to install it. You don't have to do anything. You just need to use that class, and it will be automatically reflect into your applications, because it is maintained by the Salesforce, and it is hosted on the Salesforce clouds. Okay, so now coming on the next slides. So these are some steps by the help of we can create the projects using the VS codes. So whenever you will configure your Salesforce CLI, whenever you will configure your VS codes, then what we need to follow? We need to follow these steps. So first we need to click on the view buttons here. Here on the top you will get view buttons. Then later you will get the commands palettes, or you can directly enter Control Shift P, and you will be launched on this tab. And then you just need to click enter. Okay, Then what you need to do, you have to select the create project with manifest and the create projects. The manifest is something you will get the XML files with the inside the XML file you will get some metadata things there, and you can retrieve the codes from the VS. Let's suppose we are going to start working on a projects where developer is working from last 6 months. So definitely we will have lots of things in the development. So let's suppose we need to retrieve those all the things inside our VS code. So with the help of this package.xml, you can retrieve all the things inside your VS code. Okay, so then later you need to create projects. Then after you need to just enter your project's name. Here inside this input field you have to enter whatever. This is not taking care of the Salesforce. This will be on your local system. So whatever the name you wanted to put, you can put it here. Okay. And once you will put it the name, then let me move on the next slide. Then it will also ask you for the space where you create the project. You just need to select your local systems where you wanted to put that projects. And then later the projects will be created. Okay. Now, once you will create the projects, you will get a projects folder here inside the left hand side. Okay, and inside these folders, default folders, you will get the Lightning Web components, classes, or lots of things is there. So if you have to create the Lightning Web components, you just need to right click on this. You will get lots of options here: create Lightning Web components, delete from the project. Let's suppose you have already some components here you wanted to delete, so you can also delete it from the VS code as well. And let's suppose you need to deploy, you have created Lightning Web components, now you wanted to deploy that components into your org, so you can just select the deploy source org and you will be able to deploy it into the org. Okay. Okay, so it was all about how we can create the projects, how we can create the like. Do not worry for that. Those all the things. I will show you all the things while doing the demo how we can do that. So this was the things we need to take care every time. So whenever you will create project, whenever you will create the Lightning Web components, you need to follow these steps. Okay. Okay, so once you will click on the Lightning Web components, again you need to just enter the components name, then you have to select the folder, and then you have to click enter, then your components will be getting created. And here we have to take care of two more important things. Whenever you will create the project names, you always need to take care of, you have to start your project name with the capital. These are the best practice. So you have to start your project name with the capital letter, and whenever you will create any Lightning Web components, you have to always start with the small letter. Okay, so it follow kebab case naming convention. So whenever you will call some components inside your parents component, let's suppose you are going to create some child components, so it will help you while calling your components inside the another components. So we always need to take care of component naming conventions. So we always need to take starts the component name with the small letter. Okay, then again we need to take care of the project directory, and once you will enter, your projects will be created. Okay, so once you will create your Lightning Web components, you will get these three files: HTML, JavaScript, and configuration file. CSS file you will not get it by default, but you can create the CSS file. Even if you want to put some CSV files and any other SVG files, any other files you wanted to, you can put it and you can use that. Okay, so but by default you will get the HTML file, JavaScript file, and configurations file, and also you will get the test file, test folder as well. Inside that you can write the JS test and all. Okay, so CSS file you can create it. So this was the component files. So I will show you while creating the demo. So once I will create the Lightning Web components, we will get this. We will get one folders. Inside the folders, we will get these files. Okay. Okay. So give me a moment. Okay. So let me move on the next slide. Okay. Now we are on the examples. So I don't think so it will work for us. So let me move on the org and let me show you what are the things we can develop in the Lightning Web components and how we can use them. So let me open my VS Code. My VS Code is visible to you, John? Can you please let me know?
Yes, it is visible, Shubham.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so whenever you will, so let me first show you how we can install it. Okay, so let me go here. So you just need to enter Salesforce CLI. Once you will enter the Salesforce CLI, here you will get the Salesforce CLI. You just need to click on it. See, you will be launched on these sites. You just need to install it, and you will be able to use that. Same with the VS Code as well. So once you will enter the VS Code, VS Code download. So once you will click on this, see, we will launch on this site, so we can download it from here. I have already installed, so I am not going to install that. If you guys have not installed, you can install it and you can use it. Okay. So these were the two simple sites. You just need to follow and you can install the applications. Okay. Now let me go on the VS Code. Okay, so once you will be launched on this VS Code, you will get nothing here. You just need to click on the view. Here you will get the command palette. You just need to click on here, and once you will click on the create project with manifest, so what you will get, you will be able to choose. Do you want to create standard, empty, or analytics? These things are later we can explore it. So as of now, just select the standard and click enter. So here it will ask you to enter the project name. Okay, so demo, whatever the name you wanted to do, you can put it here. So once you will put the project's name and click enter, it will ask you for the locations where you wanted to put it. Okay, so I can put it at any place, so I can create it here. Okay, and once you will create the projects, so what will happen, you will get the projects folder here. See, on the left hand side I am getting the projects folder, and currently what I am getting here on the bottoms, no default or is set. Okay, so once you will click on it, so it is taking some time. No, so the extension is getting load. So once it might be happen based upon some of your systems, it will take some time, so do not worry about that. So you just need to wait. Once the extension will load, you will be able to use all the things. Okay, so from here what you can do, you can authorize your code. Once you will click on it, you will be able to authorize and you will be able to use that. Okay, and once you will go here, you will get the lightning web components here. Once you will right click on it, see, I am getting the create lightning web components option here. Once I will click here, I need to enter the desired file names. So let me put it demo, sorry, demo components. So once I enter the demo components, you just need to put the default things here, the default LWC, and once I will enter, see what are the things I get. I got one demo components here. Inside I got one HTML file. Inside HTML files, you will get this template. So whatever the contents we are going to write, we will write it inside this template. So whatever the things we will write it here, that is going to reflect on our lightning web components. Okay, and we will get one JavaScript file. So you have whatever the contents we will write it inside the JavaScripts, we need to write it inside this curly braces. Okay, so whatever, if you will write anything outside of this curly braces, you will get the error. You will be not able to deploy your components. So you have to, and let's suppose you need to import some things from the outside. You just need to follow the import statement and you can import it. Okay, and later you will get the XML file here. So XML file by default, it will be, you will get each exposed false. So you need to first you need to make it true, then only these components will be available into your Salesforce org. Okay, so once you will make it exposed true, then what you need to follow here, you need to put the targets here. Okay, and inside this targets tag, you have to put the targets. So target is something wherever you need to use this lightning web components. Let's suppose I have an app page. On app page, I want to add this lightning web component. So you have to select the app page. Let's suppose you have a home page, record page, whatever the pages you have, you can put it here and you will be able to use it. Let's suppose if I will add record page here, then these components will be only available on the record page, not all the page. Okay, and we can add multiple targets here. Let's suppose we need to use the we need to use on the record page, also we need to use on the app page. Let's suppose we need to on the lightning tab, lightning email. Let's suppose we need to use on the community sites, that we can also select it community pages here, and we can select it and we can use it on the experience cloud site as well. Okay, so we just need to configure the targets here, and once you will configure the targets, you will be able to use that. Okay, So you have to take care of this config xml file. You just need whatever the wherever you wanted to put these components, you can put it there and you can use that. Okay, so it was all about the metadata files. Only these things will be taken care from here. So wherever you need to add your components, you have to take care from these targets. Okay, there is no use of this metadata files other than this. Okay, also let's suppose currently what we have created a demo component.js, but I wanted to show this component name should be rendered on the page. That should be not demo, Kanyakumari Salesforce developer group Kanyakumari meetup. Okay, so that we can also do. We have a master level here that we can put it, and let's whatever the name here you will put Kanyakumari. So you will get this name on the page, and you just need to drag this lightning wave component on the page. You will be able to use that. Okay, so this is the advantage of the master level. So you can change the name of your components on the page. So this will, the components name will not change, thus you will just get this name on the pages. Okay, instead of demo components. Okay, so this was all about the how we can create the projects, how we can create the components on the page, lightning web components, how we can use that. So I have already created some of the projects to just save your time. So let me go on the Salesforce org first. Okay, see, so I have created few components here. So here you can see we have our input fields. Whatever the name here I will write. See, I am writing Suham Kumar. I am getting it here. So how it's happening with the help of Lightning Web Components? This is something called the two-way data binding. So what is happening here? We have a HTML here. So we have input fields on the HTML. Then we are sending this data as Suham Kumar to the JavaScripts. Again, we are sending back the data from the JavaScripts to the HTML. So this is called the two-way data bindings that we can do it with the help of the Lightning Web Components. So we can easily send data from the HTML file to the JavaScripts. We can easily send the data from the JavaScripts to the HTMLs. Also, I have created some examples here to see these are the accounts available in my Salesforce org. Okay, now I have to show some latest accounts on to the user. So how we can do that? We can simply create a lightning web components. We can call out our apex class, and we can show the data to the users. Also here I have created some record forms. So with the help of record form, what I am doing, I am creating the lead records using apex. So what I am doing here, I am getting data from the user. I am getting into the JavaScripts. Now I am from the JavaScripts Lightning Web Components. From Lightning Web Components, I am sending the data to the Apex class, and from the Apex class, we are inserting data into the Salesforce. The same things we can also do with the help of the record forms. Currently, here we are not using any. Let's suppose it might be happen whenever we will use on and whenever we will going to create any applications on the Salesforce platform, we need to enter the address, and we need to verify the address is correct or not. Let's suppose we have a API, we need to call that API, and we need to check the address is the correct or not based upon the pin codes. Whatever the pin codes is entered by the user, we need to check the address is correct or not. So how we can do that? That is not feasible with the help of record forms, but that is doable with the help of Apex. So what will happen here? We will simply send the user data into the Apex class. Inside the Apex class, we will call out our API. We will verify our data, and once the data will be correct, then only we will insert our data into the database. If the data will be incorrect, we will send some error message to the users, and that will be reflected on the Lightning Web Components. So let me show you. So as we all know that on the lead we have a last name, we have a company. These are some required fields. So without these all fields, we will not able to insert the data. So let me quickly just I'm not entered any data. Just I am clicking on this create field. What will happen here? See, we are getting the exceptions here. Because we have handled these exceptions. We are getting the last name and the company is the required. Definitely we need to fill out these fields. So now if I will enter lead, and I will enter my company name, background. Once now I will create this lead, what will happen here? See, the lead is created. So now you can think what is the role of the putting the error handling inside the lightning web components. What is the benefits of putting error handling inside the apex class? So these are the advantages. Let's suppose we will not put any error, what will happen? The page will crash. So the same things we can all, let's suppose currently we have created with the help of apex, but here we have not written any apex code, and also we can create some lead from here as well. So let's suppose I am going to create some lead. See, the lead is getting created. If I will go on the lead record, what will happen here? So see, we have just created the lead Kumar, and we have also created the lead, one more lead here, so one leads. So both the lead I am getting it here. So now do not worry for that. I will go on the code as well. I will explain the codes how we can achieve that. So this was the simple example of that. Now let me go on the parent child components. So see what I have done here. I have created a parent components. Inside the parent component, see, this is a single component. This is not a three different components. Okay, this is a single components, parent component. Inside that parent components, what I have done here, I have integrated three different components, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so this is the advantage of the lightning web components. We can include multiple component inside a components and we can use it. So we have just added one components here, and inside that components we called three components, and we are getting it here. So this is the advantage of parent child components. Now let me quickly move on the code. So I will explain the code to you. So this was the hello world code. So if I will go here, see what I have done here. I have just created an input field in the HTML. Okay. Now what I am doing here. So whenever we are changing anything into the inputs, what we are doing on change, we are calling this handle customer methods, and this handle customer method is inside this JavaScript file. See, handle customer method is inside the JavaScript file. What we have done here, we have just created one customer name variable here, and we are adding the data into it, and how we can send this JavaScript data into the HTML. So whenever you have to get any variable value, you just need to put this curly braces, and inside this curly braces you have to put your variable name here. So once you will put your variable name, you will get the data, JavaScript data inside your HTML. So by this you can achieve the two-way data binding. So these are the very simple steps. You just need to call this method, and you have to just use it here. So these are very simple steps. You just need to follow it. Okay, so it was just about the two-way data bindings. Now let me move on to another components example. Okay, so this was the data table. See, I have just created a data table here. What I am doing here, I have created one data table. I just need to pass the data and the columns. These two things you need to pass. Rest all the things is the syntax. You just do not worry for that. You will get on the internet. You just copy and paste it. But these two things you have to pass dynamically from your JavaScript. So how you can do that? See what I have done. I have created one account controller here inside the Apex class. So if I will go here, I have done account controller. I have created one simple Apex class here. I am calling this Apex class, and I have done one query on the accounts. I am getting the name, phone, industry, created dates, and the ID from the accounts, and I am sending this data to this JavaScript file. Let me open this JavaScript file as well. So see what I am doing here. I have just called this get latest account controller, and to call this Apex class, we need to put this syntax. So what the syntax we need to put? We have to put. So what we need to put here, we just need to put import. Then here, whatever the name you wanted to put, you can put it here. And this is the syntax you need to take care. So here, the account controller, at the place of account controller, the name you will write your Apex class. Here you need to replace your Apex class name. Here you need to put your method name here. Okay. And once you will put it there, then only you will be able to call your apex class method inside your lightning web component. So with the help of wire, so I have called this. I don't need to pass any parameters here. So I have just called this method, and inside this accounts we are getting the data from the apex class, and whatever the data we are getting, we are just iterating the data onto the lightning data tables. Okay, so this was just example of the lightning data tables. Now let me move on the another one. Okay, so let me close it. Now I have created two lead records, one with the help with using Apex and one without using Apex. So let me show first how we can create the data using Apex. So let me open the HTML files, let me open the JavaScript file, and now let me open my lead controller. So I will show you. Now, if I will go here inside the HTML, what I have done here, I have created three input field here. See, if you look here, let me close it. I have created three inputs field here, and inside this input field, we are taking the data from the user, first name, last name, company, as I was showing you on the UI. So first name, last name, company we have taken here, and we are creating the records from here. So we have just created three input fields here inside the HTML. We have created one button, create lead button, and on click of this create lead, I am calling one JavaScript file. So if I will go here, see, this is the method we are calling on click of save, and what we are passing. So if you will look on the HTML, this method is getting called from the all the inputs fields. Okay, so handle inputs I am calling, and we are getting their value, all the inputs field value I am getting inside it, and we are assigning to the respective variables. Okay, and when we are assigning these variables, then after we are calling these methods, and we are sending the lead data to this apex class. If you will look on the create lead, let me control F, create lead, what I have done here, I have created a create lead here. Okay, and what I am doing here, I am passing one lead records here, and I am inserting it. Okay, so how we can do that? Now currently I was just creating the lead records here, so that's why I have just passed the lead data, but it might be happen in real time requirements. You need to pass multiple data into the apex class and apex method, and you need to use it. Let's suppose you need to some pass a string of data, so you can easily you can put some data, and here you can pass it. So whenever you will append some parameters here, so what you need to do here, so again you need to go here, and you just put the semicolon, so not semicolon, comma here, and then you just need to enter data colon, and here you can pass your variable names here. Whatever the variable name you will have, you just need to pass your data inside. This will be your JavaScript variable. Okay, so you need to pass. By this way, you can pass the data from the LWC to the Apex, and you can perform any operations. Either you need to insert the data, either you need to update, delete, anything you need to you have to follow. You can do this. Okay, so this way, while with the help of Apex, we can perform some operations. We can create some complex logics as well. So whenever you will work on some enterprise applications, what will happen? There will be lots of complex operations you need to perform. So at that time, you need to, most of the times you need to pass the data from the LWC to the Apex. So you have to follow the same approach. Okay. Now coming on the create records without Apex. Okay, so how we can do that? So for this, I have already mentioned, we have lightning records form. With the help of, we can create it. So how we can do that? So let me open the JavaScript file. If you will look here, we are not calling any Apex method here. Let me close it. We are not calling any Apex method here. We have just called one method, handle success. So we have these events available on success, handle success we are calling. So whenever this lightning record form is getting success, we are calling this method, and we are showing the success message to the user. Okay. So what we need to pass, we just need to pass the lead name. We just need to pass the layout types, row or columns, and also this was the lightning record form. So in this form, what you will get, whatever the fields will be available on the leads, you will get all the fields on the screens. But let's suppose you need only two fields. So for this we have lightning edit forms. With the help of lightning edit forms, what you can do, you can put only those fields those you want. So I want only last name and the company. So I have added only two lightning input fields here. So that's why we were getting only two fields here. If I will go on my screen, so I was getting last name and company here. If I will put some other fields, I will get it there. Okay, and later you just need to save this, and once you will save it, what will happen, the record will be created without calling any apex. Okay, so these are the advantages of the lightning record form, lightning edit form. Now coming on the parent child components, so how we can do that. So if I will look on this, see what I am doing here, I'm just calling my components. If you will look here, we have a create records without apex, sorry, using create lead using apex. So we have create lead using apex. We just need to follow this syntax. So what the syntax we have to follow, whenever you need to call, so you just need to put c and hyphen, then your component name. Let's suppose we have a data table. So how we can call that? So you need to put data, and see here T is the capital. So whenever any capital letter will contain in your component name, then before that capital letter you just need to enter hyphen, and then you need to replace your capital letter with a small letter. So here you need to put table like this, and once you will close it, your data table components will be called inside this parent components. Okay, so this is the syntax by you can call any of your components inside your parent components. And if you will look on the JS, we have not done anything. We just called the components inside this parent components, and we have shown to you. Okay, okay, so this was the example of these all the things. So how we can create the modulars, how we can create multiple components, how we can call the apex from the lightning web components, how we can send the data from the apex, sorry, lightning web component to apex, and vice versa. We can also get the data from the apex class to the lightning web components. Okay, now coming on my slides. So I have already covered these all the things. So let me move on the slides. Okay, so these are the learning resources we have. As we all know that we have a Trailhead, that is a very important learning platform we all have, and we are really grateful for this. And we have also developer guides available on the internet. So if you will go on the developer.salesforce.com, you will get the developer guide there. You will get the lightning web components official documentations that is maintained by the Salesforce. So you will get all the official things there on these websites. You can just follow these URLs and you will get it there. Okay, and I have just inserted one screenshot here. This is very interesting for me. So whenever you will type the LWC on the Trailhead, you will get more than 1,000 results on it. So now we can think, okay, how much demanding it is, how much things available we have. We have lots of resources available on the internet. If you will go on the YouTubes, if you will go on the Google, if you will go on any websites, lots of websites is containing lightning web components. So we just need to explore it. Lots of resources is available, and definitely as I have already a deep expertise of 2.5 years in the lightning web components, so I have also got chance to explore lots of things. So if you want to explore anything, you just need to follow this URL. And if you have any questions on anything, you can connect me over the LinkedIn, and you can put your questions on the chats. I will help you. Okay, so now coming on the next slide. So this is the questions answers. So if anyone have any questions, you can ask me your questions. Definitely I will answer. Okay, hey, hi John.
Hi, bro. Still now there is no any other questions.
Okay. So thank you so much all for joining, and it's been a great pleasure for me to speak at the Salesforce Developer Group Kanyakumari. And once again, John, thank you so much for having me here, and it's been a great time with all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, bro. Thank you for giving time. It is a very informative session. Uh, Many of the trial browsers will very useful, and they will get more knowledge about LWC. Thank you once again for
Okay,
giving the time.
okay,
Thank you,
thank you,
everyone.
John.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining. Bye.